we can realize that we already have done this, and we can recognize it now. We can be living in a higher dimension of freedom and sovereignty with all of our needs fulfilled. This dimension exists for us when we imagine and feel ourselves living in it. This is our natural state of being. We are constantly created in deepest love and joy. In many, many areas, change is happening. Some not so seemingly great, some quite miraculous and wonderful. All depends on the timeline at this point that you have all chosen. All of you that resonate, that is important. That word resonate to my word now. All of you are beginning to understand more and more that change is inevitable, and change is necessary and needed at this point in your evolution. But change, as someone rightly said earlier, is adapting to what is needed. They are our boundaries within universal consciousness. They define the energetic spectrum of our reality. As we use our imagination and emotions, we continually change dimensions. When we are unaware that we are constant creators and are stepping from one dimension to another, we do not believe in miracles. When we create something extraordinary that appears to be a miracle, we do not change anything, but because the energetics are not in alignment, we move into a dimension where the energetics match. Usually this would be essentially identical to the dimension we just left, and those who are present energetically align with some aspect of ourselves, including the miracles. They are not miracles in this dimension. They are part of its unique timeline. Of course, you are angry because you assumed you let go of everything before becoming new you. And so you have accepted for this peace. It could be financial, physical surroundings, physical well-being, or relationships. Perhaps you attempted to create your joy, a joy that feels right but has been elusive for most, if not all, of this earth life. Your best efforts seem to produce nothing, as if you were a shining knight ready to slay the dragon only to discover you cannot find the dragon despite riding hither and yon. If you had not decided en masse to complete this life in love, you might never have accessed this hidden peace or accessed it at a different place and time. You will likely address this issue this week. Your greatest fear will materialize and then disappear as if it never existed. This is what we want because it is our real experience when we have transcended our limiting beliefs about ourselves. We can realize that we are unlimited in every way, and we can live now in the world we most want to experience. To realize its reality, we have to align our personal vibrations with it. It is possible for us to be aware of our infinite essence expressing itself as our human selves. While participating in our lives here in ways that come from compassion and joy in the enhancement of all life, we can intentionally express these qualities. That is what you are doing now. You are adapting. You are taking on the changes as they come and moving with them rather than against them. That is important now. Do not fight against the changes, but go along with them, as the go with the flow is very important now. Because again, change is inevitable. The old programming of the third dimensional illusion is fading away more and more. But in order to do so, there must be a revealing of the old programming, revealing of the shadows as we come into the light. And as those shadows come into the light, they fight. They fight to hold on to those very shadows. The light is what is taking them out of their comfort zone and moving them into areas of expression that they were not ready to do as of yet. According to our vibrations, we change dimensions from moment to moment, which changes our experience of reality. In the timeline that excludes the miracle, our limiting beliefs restrict our awareness. It is needed when relying on ego consciousness, but it disables our creative awareness and limits our experience. Our true knowing is our creative power. It comes to us in our seeking it. We can have our miracles only when we realize that we already have them. This is how we transform our experiences. We change timelines and dimensions, and we can live with miracles. Perhaps you wonder what will happen if you ignore this fear once more. Nothing other than your new life will not be as joyful, because this peace relates to your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. How you move through this peace is your decision, just as whether or not to do so. Most likely, these words make you angry because we of the universe has promised you the sun and the moon. You now have to return to the shadows to claim it. This is not a punishment, but a growth step in your creation abilities. Until you finally close this fear, you will create your joy by maneuvering around it like a spot of ink on cream-colored fabric. Even though the fabric is cream-colored, it is marred by the spot of ink, no matter how small that spot is. This is how we are created to be, and how we prefer to live in infinite awareness within our attention. By expressing the true intention of the creative life force that constantly enlivens us, we gain creative power exponentially. In this way, our influence spreads throughout humanity, making it easier for everyone to open to awareness of our expansive self. We can create realization of realities. Our reality is our interpretation of the energetic circumstances that we align with. Each of us has conscious qualities that are unique to us in the way we modulate the conscious life force that we wield with our attention and our vibratory alignment. We can express ourselves from the feelings of our deepest essence. As we do this, we are living in the dimension that aligns with our vibrations. The qualities of our personal lives can be vastly different from the situations around us. They may appear chaotic and threatening, but they are in a different dimension and do not have to affect us personally. They had a plan, and that plan is being thwarted in every respect at this point, even though it may not appear so. And even though it may indeed appear to be a time of great sorrow for many, but for many more of you, it is a time to rejoice. Not for the sorrow that is happening, but to rejoice in that indeed you are coming to the end of all of this. The end of the movie, if you will. It is approaching, and I, as St. Germain, have been delegated at this point to be the one in charge of the great changes that are happening here on this planet. That is the dream that occurred so long ago by those in the know. They had the dream. And the dream is coming closer and closer to being realized, where all men and women, all are created equal in the eyes of the God force. Where no one is to be excluded from that freedom. That is the new age, the new golden age of Gaia. We are creators of our experiences, which we share with all other conscious beings, who also participate in universal consciousness. We are free to create whatever we want, provided that we do not limit ourselves, but we have gone to great lengths to limit ourselves, and we have not realized what we have done to ourselves. If we have any fear of the unknown or doubt about our capabilities, we are keeping ourselves from knowing the unconditional love and fulfilling energies that we can align with. Everything is as it should be in every dimension, and we do not change anything. We can transform our experience by recognizing the reality that we choose and realizing that it is real. We do this by changing to a timeline that expresses the reality that we recognize. This is a complex process, but we do it all the time. Our reality is what we realize it is. For each of us, this may be different in some way, depending on our own perceptive ability and perspective. Eliminating this fear is not a punishment, but instead an expansion of your creation capabilities. A quick scan of your being will tell you what that fear is. Maybe you are now angry enough to ignore the clearance window that is presenting itself. As is true for all activities offered to you via eclipses, alignment of the stars, or whatever your inner body tells you is an open window to the new. This week's opportunity will continue if this is not the right time to address your fear. This week's energies merely allow you to address the issue more easily than might be true in the future. Perhaps you wonder why we of the universes featured the past few weeks of joyful creation if you had a remaining fear to address. Even though your creative skills are not dampened by this long-hidden fear, we have noted that your creations are not quite at the level you wish. A review indicated you hid a specific fear so deeply that you had no idea it was within you. The energies of this week will be an opening allowing you to address that fear with the least amount of trepidation. This week's opening is a gift from you and the universes to you. Claim it, and then allow that deeply hidden fear to ooze out of your totality. We do not have to change anything outside of our own consciousness. Everything already exists in the quantum field, waiting for our recognition and realization. By imagining ourselves living in a realm of beauty, love and joy, we align our vibrations with those qualities and move into the dimension that enhances life. We can go back and forth in energetic dimensions and stay as long as we choose. The qualities of our experiences are created by our perspective in our mental and emotional processes. These create our personal energetic signature, expressing our non-localized presence of awareness. Once we succeed in directing our attention entirely to life-enhancing energies, we enter a timeline or dimension that is filled with those energies. This shift in our life experience is a result of the shift in our consciousness. We can vibrate at the level of our heart consciousness, and we can direct our ego to align with our inner knowing. That is where you are all moving toward in this ascension process. Will everyone ascend? No. That is not possible at this point. But know that as more and more do become aware of what is in reality here, not the old illusion, but the new reality that you are all creating, when more and more become aware of that, then the tipping point has arrived. And you are coming very close now to that tipping point, even though it may not appear so. Even though you think only millions at this point have awakened, that is far from the truth. There are many, many more that have awakened or are in that process of awakening. Awakening to who they really are and what this is really all about. And then they, just like you all, they will understand that this is a movie and that the movie eventually does come to an end. That end approaches as many, many more from beyond this earth. Those of your brothers and sisters from the stars will commence to move in and bring more and more change to this planet. As it is destined that those of you, the awakened ones, and those of us who are here to assist many, many more in their awakening process. The lesson here is that we are free, sovereign beings, able to create whatever reality we want in whatever timeline and dimension we recognize as real. This is what we do, and it's time to realize it. We've been sleepwalking through life, not knowing how we're creating it as we go along. When we decide that fear, doubt, and anger have served their purpose, we can recognize our limiting beliefs and resolve them by realizing that they are self-imposed and have become undesirable. We know what they are. We can resolve them and release them, opening our awareness to our multidimensional, infinite essence and creative ability.